Okay, welcome to U.S. History A, Unit 5. Guys, we are in Unit 5. Do you know how exciting this is? We are like almost done, okay? Seriously, the end is so near. We're talking about Discussion Board 21, Reconstructing a Broken Nation. And this is stuff, okay, this is stuff that I love. I know I always say that this is stuff that I love, but this is really stuff that is so intriguing to me. Okay, please remember to use 6 to 8 complete sentences. The questions are: what is NAS trying to portray in document A? Okay, I don't know what document A is, so let's figure that out. How does he feel about the treatment of Confederate soldiers during Reconstruction? And then, what is NAS trying to portray in document B? How does Columbia feel about the right to vote for Confederate soldiers? What about black soldiers? Does he agree with the treatment of those groups during Reconstruction? Okay, so we've got A and B here. Okay, so let's go down. Let's look at A. This is document A, right? Um, this must be document A, Andersonville. Okay, here we go. So it says that the cartoon shows Union prisoners in Andersonville, a Confederate prison in Georgia that held Union soldiers captured in battle. Andersonville was overcrowded and unsanitary, and nearly a third of its prisoners died from the horrible conditions they faced there. Okay, I think that probably is definitely the case. All right, so here we have Union soldiers in Andersonville, and it says, and then on this, okay, and then it over on this side it says, soldiers, have you fought in vain? Okay, so here they are in prison in Andersonville. All right, and then it says, soldiers, look on this picture. Shall the rebel leaders be restored to power? Okay, so it says the rebel leaders Jefferson Davis at Fortress Monroe. Okay, so it is. The bottom image shows Jefferson Davis, President of the Confederacy, in comfort at Fort Monroe in Virginia, where he was imprisoned for 2 years after the war. The sign on the right reads, all persons passing this way must put on slippers in order to not disturb our guest. It was reported that the efforts were made to reduce Jefferson Davis's exposure to noise at Fort Monroe after he complained. The bottom of the image reads, treason must be odious, which is a phrase Andrew Johnson frequently used as the governor of Tennessee when running for the vice presidency. Okay, so that's what this sign says. I guess put on your slippers. Okay, so it's comparing. You see these soldiers in prison from the Confederacy to the prison that Jefferson Davis was put in after the war. Okay, so. Um, So that's that, okay? And so now it says, what is he trying to portray in document A? How does he feel about the treatment of Confederate soldiers during Reconstruction? All right, so, it says Union soldiers, this is Union soldiers in Andersonville prison. Sickness, starvation, death, okay? And then it says the contrast um, of something to Andersonville, something about Fort Monroe. Okay, so these are Union soldiers in the Andersonville prison, and then this is how Jefferson Davis was treated when he was in prison, quote unquote, right? Um, so treason must be made odious, and odious means deserving hate. Okay, so betraying one's country must be deserving hate. That's kind of interesting, right there. Okay, so what is he saying about the soldiers during Reconstruction? So what does he think? How does he think that maybe Confederates were treated during Reconstruction? All right, doesn't look like life was too harsh for them. Okay, and this is by Thomas Nast. He's kind of known as the father of political cartoons. All right, um, so he's a super interesting guy as far as that goes. Okay, so then source B, document B, says, "Shall I trust these men?" And um, and it says all these men are Confederate soldiers, and they're pleading for Columbia to pardon them. Okay, to give them amnesty, to let them, vote again, let them participate um, in our system, in our democracy, even though they left the Union. Okay, and then she also has the black soldier here who's missing a leg and has crutches, and it says, "And not this man." Okay? So the image on the left shows the representatives of the Confederacy asking for a pardon. Confederate General Robert E. Lee is the figure kneeling with a bowed head in the center of the frame. The figure in the so right there, interesting. The figure in the chair is Columbia, a symbol used to represent the United States at the time. And then the image on the right shows Columbia standing with a Union soldier who had been wounded in battle. Okay, so what is Nast trying to portray in document B? How does Columbia feel about the right to vote for Confederate soldiers? What about black soldiers? Does he agree with the treatment of these groups during Reconstruction? Okay, um, so Reconstruction was kind of a mess, and a big reason why was because Lincoln was shot at basically the end of the war. Okay, so Lincoln was shot during kind of the pinnacle of his entire presidency. Okay, the best part of his entire presidency, and then he went down. Okay, and and then Andrew, what was his name? Um, Andrew Johnson was the vice president who took over for him, okay? And it was a big mess. It was a big mess because there were all of these people in Congress that wanted the radical Republicans wanted to give back the rights to black people immediately, and to let them vote and to let them own land and to let them do all of that. There were a lot of people who didn't think that that was a good idea. There were a lot of people, there were discussions about when and how should we let people that were in the Confederacy, such as, you know, Robert E. Lee, come back to the Union. All right. So it was kind of a messy time. It was a really, really messy time. And eventually, Andrew Johnson was impeached because, anyway, it was a messy, messy, messy time. So I want you to tell me how you see these two cartoons and kind of what you make of them and from what you've learned about the Reconstruction era, how you see these cartoons kind of showing what happened. So, Anyway, if you have any questions, please let me know, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks so much. Bye.